Good night, everyone. This is Kristen Bratton, and this is Chip.
Hello.
We live in Nashville, Tennessee, and we thank you for spending a few minutes with us tonight. We are going to share our story and our journey with Rodan and Fields for our family, what this started out like, what it has been for us, and kind of what the future looks like. And there's been some changes along the way, and we're really excited to share all of those with you. Some of you may be tuning in from the United States or from Australia, so please send a message in the chat box and tell us where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching this on replay, make sure that when you are finished with this video that you circle back around to the consultant that sent it to you and chat with them about your questions. So we'll just start with kind of how we got started in this journey with Rodan and Fields as a family business. I'll start by sharing kind of my background and what I was thinking when I first heard about this. And then I'll let Chip talk about, kind of what's happened over the last year and what this opportunity looks like for us in the future. So I had no business in skincare. I'm a business owner previously, and I've also worked in corporate America. But I owned and operated and grew an interior design business for about 14 years. So really, I didn't know a lot about skincare. I knew about good sunblock, and I knew that good skincare was supposed to be expensive. But beyond that, I didn't have a background in it. This business was intriguing to us for personal reasons for our family. See, I'd grown my interior design business to the point to where I had an amazing client list. I was working the kind of hours that I really wanted. I was making sure that that work environment went around our family. I wanted to always make sure that we put our children first, and that they knew that, and that they knew that they were first and everything else came after that. And so when I grew my business to work as many hours as I wanted to, without putting my kids on the back burner, and was making as much money in my industry that I could per hour, because I was an hourly wage worker for myself. I owned my own business, but I got paid by the hour. But when I kind of reached the cap of that, about 14 years into my business, I had a couple of options. In order to grow my business bigger and get to a different financial level in my business, I was going to have to put more time and energy in my business and probably hire some people to work for me and stamp my name on their work, which, number one, I didn't want to stamp my name on other people's work. Number two, I did not want to have employees, because that is an entirely different ball of wax when working. And I didn't want to take more time and money away from our family I was trying to go the other way. We were trying to earn more and work less hours. So that was not going to get me there. So it got me thinking. It did not get me thinking about Rodan and Fields eventually. Several people tried to introduce me to this opportunity, and I pushed them all away in the beginning. But something intrigued me about the fact that this was growing. I watched friends grow their businesses big enough that gave them options. They could step away from corporate America. They could scale back in their business, spend less time at their physical location of their business, or they could spend less time in the classroom or at their job. They could scale back to part-time. And then we knew some people that were doing this to fund vacations and mission work. So that all became intriguing to me, that I saw a lot of people doing a lot of different things with it. So we looked at the business, we talked about it, and I'll let Chip tell you a little bit about what he saw when I came and told him that I was going to do this.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us and spending some of your Sunday night with us. Yeah, when Kristen, I knew she talks about her interior design business, and I knew that she was getting a little burned out on that business, and I knew it was time for a change. But she wanted to stay engaged in the business world, and at the time we had one child, my daughter from a previous marriage, who was in college out of state, and we also had our oldest son, Jack, in a private school here in Nashville. And so we were tuition heavy. And we knew that if she were going to leave the interior design business, that would be good to have, what's the next, what else is out there? We were both in the design construction industry. I'm a 33-year veteran in that industry. And that's a cyclical industry. It's good when it's good, but it can really be tough when the economy's down. So we knew that there needed to be something that was a little more recession proof. So again, Kristen, to her point, we kept hearing about the great things that Rodan & Fields was doing for people that were entering into that business, and they were able to replace corporate incomes. They were able to do some really neat things that they dreamed about, like adoption or doing ministry work or missionary work, mission work. So we said, all right, let's look at it. And as a business person, and I was the furthest thing from a skincare expert. I didn't know who Rodan & Fields was. Kristen reminded me that it was the doctors behind Rodan & Fields were the doctors behind Proactiv. And I did that, a light bulb went off then, because my daughter had used Proactiv, and I know it was a very good product. I knew it had been very successful around the world. In fact, found out in our due diligence that they had gone to 160 countries and had 80% market share. And in business, we always look for replication of success. And I said, all right, check that box. They've been very successful with the one product, one brand over here. Now they're trying to, and they sold that brand, they're trying to build a new brand. Well, that's always, when you have a leadership team that's consistent from one success story to another, that was a positive. So I liked what we found out about in that regard. I guess as we kept looking or kept exploring, we discovered that the doctors and the company was very innovative in its product offerings. That they had products that worked, and I don't care how good the marketing is and how great the packaging is. If the product doesn't work, it's not going to be a long-term success story. But we understood that the products were very good, and they were very innovative, and they're coming out with new products all the time. We understood, and we kind of got this from Proactiv. They don't go to market in the typical fashion. Mm-hmm. With Proactiv, they used infomercials and kiosks and had this phenomenal growth, mm-hmm. And built this huge brand, this billion-dollar brand, in a non-traditional channel. And as we were doing due diligence for Rodan & Fields, pretty immediately we were made aware of the fact, hey, it's not wholesale retail channel here. You're not your typical product channels. It is direct to the consumer. It's e-commerce based. I guess at the time we were starting to hear stories about bricks and mortar retail, mm-hmm. Starting to suffer and struggle. And we were hearing nothing but great things about the growth of Amazon and other e-commerce businesses. So I said, well, it sounds like they've picked the right channel, mm-hmm. or the right way to go to market. So those were some of the things that we found early on in our investigation. Mm-hmm. And, we had looked at other franchise opportunities, an ice cream franchise and some other franchise businesses. Boy, they were expensive. Mm-hmm. And there was a big barrier to entry for most of those opportunities. Plus, with for instance, with the ice cream, we figured out we were going to live at the ice cream store, mm-hmm. and that was going to defeat our purpose of wanting to be able to be, present for our children, and to, be able to earn more and not work quite so much. So we crossed that one off the list. This seemed from our research seemed to be an opportunity where we could, through leverage, through residual income, we could actually achieve our goals and not have to work, 7 days a week, crazy hours, all that type of thing. So all the boxes we started checking all the boxes. And again, back to my point of it not being a very expensive business to enter, and it wasn't. I mean, we're talking less than $1,000. That was very appealing to us as well. So we determined, let's get in it. Now, I will say when we first entered the business, Kristen was still trying to bring her interior design business to a close. And so she wasn't able to work it, I guess, full time. We won't get into that too much, but when it took us a couple of years before she was really fully dedicated to Rodan and Fields.
Yeah.
And
that's when we kind of really understood what was really in front of us. I don't think I really even grasped the vision of what was fully available to us. Like, we kind of knew it, but not until we were really in the company for a while did I really understand the big vision, because I saw what other people were really, how big they were doing this and what all the opportunities were. And so about 2.5 years ago, I decided that the end of my interior design career I was going to put an end to that. I closed that business because of what I saw happening with this business. And so in the last year, it's even changed even more. So 2.5 years ago, I closed my interior design business. So I did two things at once when I first started this, as I think most people do, add this in as an additional stream of income for their family, no matter what they do with it. And about a year ago, I said to Chip, there's a really big opportunity here for families to be able to take this and use as a vehicle for big things and for generational change, generational wealth. This business can be passed down to your children. It's an asset you put in your will. We've seen it happen to other families where they have used this as a vehicle to take care of a child in the future that may not be able to take care of themselves. So we really saw how this could be used as a family. And so about a year ago, I said, why are we not sharing this from one family to another? So I invited him to start doing that with me. Even though that we started this as a family business, we wanted to tell the story together.
Right.
So about a year or so ago, we started doing that more and made it very intentional to share the specific purpose of one family to another to use this as a financial vehicle for families. And so about a year ago, we started doing events together and inviting families together to our events and sharing online like we are now. We earned a trip to Canada for our family this past summer. Our kids said it was the best vacation they ever had. It was one of the things that you can earn in the Rodan and Fields incentive program, and we made that a goal of ours and accomplished that, and that was really fun. And then this summer we started talking more. So you want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of tie on to talking about this to families. I don't think most guys, certainly I was included in this consideration. Most of us guys don't understand how much skincare is bought in this world. I mean, I think it's pretty mind-boggling if you start looking at the numbers. And as a business person, that really caught my attention. Wow, that much is bought on an average and on an annual basis in a $160 billion market, and we're just 1% of that. And it's recession resistant. Nothing's recession proof, but we found out, people told us about during the Great Recession, they would give up on their expensive spa treatments or their purchase of a big ticket item, but they were still going to take care of their skin. They felt like this was something that they could still afford and not have to sacrifice. So that was very key. But yeah, we started talking about families, and if I could come alongside her and appeal to a husband, and a lot of people view this as, this is just a little side business for the lady of the house. It can be, but why can't it be a family business, just like any other type of family-owned business, and involve both husband and wife, and especially talk to the guy about, okay, you may not know much about skincare, but listen to these numbers, listen to these dollars that are in the world of commerce that should get your attention, and market share and brand awareness and those things. And it has. People have really taken note as we've shared that information with them. So yes, we have been spending the better part of this year reaching out to families. Now, that could be a family of one. but we've been very intentional about trying to reach a couple. And I know some couples are on tonight, and we're grateful for that, and they're part of our team. So yeah, I've become more involved in the well, certainly really involved here lately, but over the past year with nights and weekends, spending the time talking, recruiting, presenting virtually and in person, and it's really been gratifying. And so, and yes, we enjoyed the trip to Canada, and it motivated us. All right, we'd love to have more of these type of trips. Our kids bragged and raved about how much fun it was, and the first class, the way they send you in such a first class way. And then I guess, what was it, August, September, we went to convention. Kristen had been before. I had never been. It was held here in Nashville. First time I had been. 12,000 of your closest friends. And I thought I was very impressed by the content, by the production, by the attendance, by the energy level, by the information, by all the above. They really know how to put on a great. I've gone to a lot of conferences in my life. I probably came away from that as energized and motivated as any as I've been to. So,
and we started talking about, like, well, what does this mean? Because there's such an amazing plan going forward with this brand globally. What should our plans be over the next few years? And Chip was asked by another one of our business partners a couple of months ago, right before convention, what's your plan? Over the next few years. He was really pointed to ask Chip that. Yeah. What'd you say?
So one of our partners, some of y'all would know him. We were sitting at dinner one night with one of our monthly get-togethers at a local restaurant, and this gentleman looked at me across the table and said, "Well, Chip, you've been in this design construction business for all these years, and you're now getting more involved with Rodan Fields. What would be your plan to step away from the design construction business and be retired from that and be full-time with Kristen?" And I sat there and scratched my head and pondered for a second. I said, well, I really think in 2 years, so we're talking 2021, that I would set that as a goal.
For an option.
For an option to be retired. And I wrote that number down, down 2021. And, I have to say, I put it on a sticky note and put it in the back of my notebook, and I would see it every other week or so, but I wasn't just, laser focused on that, but I was aware. So
then we went to convention, and we heard about all the new programs and products that were going to be released on October the 2nd. We learned about the programs that were available for new consultants, and we learned about the opening of our next country with the brand, which would be Japan. And Japan, of course, is located in Asia, where 51% of the world's skincare purchases are made. And so, gosh, our eyes just kept getting wider and wider about this opportunity. So we came home from that and really excited and made, we're writing down more things about the new products and the new programs and who we're going to reach out to and what vision we can share with people even more now, because we've seen it and we've heard it. And then September 30th, Chip came home from work.
Yes, September 30th. I got some interesting news from the architect firm that I work for that my department was being eliminated. And so what we had, and again, I've been in this business a long time, that happens. It's, especially for a pure business development director who is not an architect or an engineer, you're overhead, you're not billable. So unfortunately, those positions get hired and fired kind of like a football coach or a baseball manager. It's just common. And been through it before. The good Lord has seen us through it before, and I knew He would see us through it again. And I came home and told Kristen the news, and she was, like me, a little caught off guard. But
then I was immediately excited.
Within, 20 minutes,
yeah,
she had shifted the conversation to, well, this is no coincidence that September 30th it happened, and tomorrow, October 1st, the most lucrative incentive programs in the history of Rodan and Fields, and the new products that are coming out
will be launched,
and the confirmation of our global expansion going to Japan. it's no coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
This was meant to be. So we
Yeah.
sat up pretty until late in the night and talked about me joining full time with my boss over here. Could be the toughest boss I've ever had, but we made the determination that yes, I am going to be full time with Rodin & Fields. So that's exciting news to share.
Yes, we're really excited. And then we just automatically became excited about what this means for other families, not only ours, but it's such a different feeling to know that now we're the ones in charge completely of what happens. There's no waiting to see. And Chip has had many offers come across the phone lines, many offers for job opportunities, to be employed, to have contract work with others. But he really knew that as he says, this opportunity with Rodin & Fields is teed up way too good right now for us to ignore this as a family. And so this is where we're going to put 100% of our efforts. And we immediately became excited about all the other families that we get to share this with, that we get to empower with options now, just like we brought this on as an option for our family several years ago. And look at what it has come to fruition for us. It has become more than just an option. And so we have heard, even in the last 3 to 4 weeks, about neighbors that are losing their jobs, friends of ours that are looking at other options and opportunities, because we know that that to fuel the future, most of us understand at this point that we have to have several streams of income, and we have to really open ourselves up to what is around. And so as we know that more people are looking and more people are looking to control their own future, now we get to build something that no one else can take away from us. We're in charge of that, and what we build for our family is here to stay. And so that stays here with us. And if we decide to will this business to our children, it would stay with them. But we're really excited about the global expansion with Rodin & Fields, with what this is doing for our family, and how we get to take this as a testimony to other families as well. So a little bit about what's about to happen with Rodin & Fields is, like we mentioned a few minutes ago, Asia is our next country to open. It was announced that Japan will be our next country to open, and Japan has a $1 billion market in premium skincare. So Rodin & Fields right now is a $1.6 billion company. So when that gate opens in Japan, and we didn't know anybody in Japan when we first started thinking about this, but we thought we'll find some people, because the opportunity is so great that when you ask people all around the world, all the people that you run into, what kind of opportunities they're looking for, when they're open, they might see the same thing that we see. So we're really excited that, number one, that still in the United States, there's only a 3% unassisted awareness of Rodin & Fields as a brand to begin with. So there's still a humongous opportunity here in the States. That we also have Canada open, Australia open, but when Japan opens in the spring of 2020, that opens a whole nother gate of people, of families to empower, of individuals. Then also, too, what happens after that, Rodin & Fields has mapped out a minimum of 1 country per year for the next 10 years to open, and a minimum of 2 brand new proprietary products to be released from our company every year for the next 10 years. So we were excited to see how Japan has been set up. When we went to convention, we got to see the products that are made specifically for Japanese skin, the marketing splash page that's already up, the packaging that's done, and everything with in mind that 5 years worth of research has been done in this country. I'm sure that research has been going on in other countries as well, that we just haven't been made aware of. But we know, and we see, we've just seen how well everything's been planned out. And we know that not only for us, but for all of you that decide to join us and run with us, this is an opportunity that we know that we can't give up, and we can't quit sharing because of what it will do for others. So we're really excited. We don't know what plans you have for your family or what dreams that you may have put on the side table because you didn't think you had a way to get there. We don't know what you need to be doing for your family right now or how you might want to help extended family. We know that we have families on our team and others that we've seen empower beyond their own families. The ripple effect out into the world because of this has been completely amazing. Because when you build something for your own family, what you build and how you empower others allows a ripple effect out into the world because of what they can do for other people. So we're excited to see what these resources of time and finances are going to allow us to do for others as well. So we didn't talk a lot about the products tonight in specific. Those of you that want to talk specifically about products and what might be good for your particular skin type, please circle back around to the consultant that invited you tonight, because they will have some specific technology starting with a skin quiz developed by the doctors that will allow you to participate in finding out about which products are specifically best for you. The technology to run our businesses is completely amazing, and that can be explained to you as well. We wanted to give you an overview of what had gone on with us lately, what our story looked like. If it speaks to you and this sounds like something that you want to jump in and run with our team, we would be honored to take you with us and hear further about your specific goals for your family. But to be involved with our brand, you can be a preferred customer as a participant of the product and get a great discount on the product and free shipping. Ask the consultant that invited you how to get that. You can also work the business with us and really accomplish some big things for your family. So we look forward to hearing from you how you would love to be involved with this brand. And if neither of those things are for you right now, we would love to be connected, or the person that invited you would love to be connected with some people who would really see this opportunity and love to know about it. So we thank you for helping on tonight, and we look forward to walking with you to see how we can enable you to go to the next step. Good night, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.